And we're here at NAMM 2020 with Dan Green, the founder of 4MS. This is fun for me because this is the first time I've ever interviewed you. I absolutely love your dual looping delay. It's on the master output of my main performing rig, and it is just an absolutely fabulous thing. It's really wonderful and very expressive. So, Dan, I'm going to hand you the mic, and you can show us what you guys have on display here today.
Yeah, thanks. So this year at NAMM we have a new module. We've just announced it. It's called the Ensemble Oscillator. And it's a collaboration actually between us at 4MS Company and Matthias Puesch, who we also worked with on the topographic delay. So this is a 16 HP oscillator. Let me turn it up a little bit. There are 16 oscillators in this oscillator, and each one is quantized to a note from a scale that you can pick. So I can pick different things. Also, yeah, when you change pitches between notes, you can hear it's crossfading between the different notes. It's not pitch bending between them. There is post-quantization pitch, too, if you want to do that. So one of the things that this module operates in this gray area between, if you take a scale and it has notes and you play a bunch of oscillators in those notes, you get a chord, right? And if you know a little bit about maybe physics, kind of the music theory, you might also know that a waveform is also a sum of a bunch of different sine waves. Any waveform, complex or simple, sawtooth or even just really unnamed waveforms, is a bunch of sine waves added together. If you think about a scale as a sequence of harmonics instead of a sequence of notes, then suddenly playing some 16 oscillators all tuned to different harmonics generates a different wave shape. So you can think about this as generating complex wave shapes versus just generating chords too. And especially when you get to like more microtonal scales and things, you more hear like it as a waveform versus as a chord. And you can go in between these two different ways of thinking about it. It's really just how you perceive things. So we have spread, the distance between the lowest and the highest notes. We have root. We have various wave shapers here. So these twist and warp do these wave shaping. This drives it more towards ramp saws. This drives it towards pulsars, which is from a microsound. It's a type of synthesis. This isn't a full complete pulsar synthesis instrument, but it does some of the parameters. And then you have a bit crush type waveform thing. You can detune. You can also do this warping, which is different wavefold distortions. So you can hear them if you just turn one. More of the Chevy Chef polynomials here. And then linear wavefolding. So, and these sound great with CV, by the way. I'll just turn up here. Can hear that, but anyways, then we have FM, of course, where you can have three different patterns of how the oscillators modulate one another. Also, since all the oscillators are harmonically linked, when you FM them with each other, you get much more interesting results than just randomly tuned oscillators. So you can hear very expressive. And of course, there's the scales. So you can program your own scales in as well. It's also pretty easy to program your own scales in. You can do it on board. You just hold this learn button down and you can tune different notes in.
And this is fully discrete, so you can use that for microtonal stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and I'm glad you brought that up because there's 3 modes here. If you have the switch flipped up, it tunes them to the nearest semitone. You're actually programming intervals, not notes. So, and then if you have it flipped down or in the center, an octave or free, then it's complete microtonal. And then you can delete the last note and you can say, oh, actually, I want to fine tune that a little. So that's one way to add scales. You hit learn, now it's in there. It's saved. If I power down, it's back. That's an interesting one. You can also do it with a keyboard, CD into pitch and into the learn gate, and then you just play the notes you want to play and it learns it right in there. Or you can run an LFO or a random source into there or whatever you want to do. So, and then you have quantization if you want or not if you don't. And you also can have the option to have it automatically repeat them every octave. So it makes your total of all your intervals fill an octave or 2 or 3 or however many, or not. So you don't have to have octaves involved in your music.
So a couple of comments that I have about your company, and this piece is exactly in that line. I really feel that your stuff is very musically oriented, which I can't say about all Eurorack stuff, and that's wonderful. And more than that, what I really like about it is that it's clear that there's a lot of advanced musical thinking behind what you're doing, like all the polyrhythm stuff and your time, in your time pulse things. And what I love about this is that with the quantized stuff, somebody who's working on just doing sort of tonal melodies can use it, but also those of us that are interested in more experimental electronics, this really feels like it's a very good fit for us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That we have programmed in here some of the Bolin Pierce, or some selected frequencies from Bolin Pierce tritive, and some Wendy Carlos intervals from the alpha and the beta scale. So there's just to get you thinking, and really once you start programming your own intervals in and your own scales, you can really, and I think one of the roles, if I can get philosophical for a moment, one of the roles of music technology should be, or I hope would be, is that it gives us tools to implement these ideas and that people have theorized about, and maybe come up with musical pieces or implementations in software or something, or custom software, but bringing it to a hardware level where you can play with these things really easily with very few obstacles of having to write your own super collider script or something like that, where you can just press a button and press another button, and now you have your set of the intervals you want to play with. It's I feel like that is the role of us as music technology producers that we should be doing. We should be giving people new tools to make new music. So,
Dan, is the Ensemble Oscillator available now, or is it on its way?
April 20th. It's $299 US, and it's going to be fun.
Hey, Dan, I really want to take a moment to thank you so much. I really love your stuff, and I very much appreciate what it is that you stand for as well. So, have a great show, man.